Not everything is all sunshine and rainbows in Romania. Despite its bustling economy, it's struggling with managing its government spending. The warning signs were there at the start of 2023, yet Romania chose to ignore them, and now they're suffering the consequences. Romania has been spending 7.4 billion euros more than they have been earning. It's been like this for the first 5 months of 2023 with no signs of slowing down. It's currently at 2.32% of GDP. To put into perspective how bad this is, their deficit in 2022 was much lower. It was 1.48% for these first 5 months. In other words, the current deficit is 46% higher than last year's. Today, it's predicted to rise up to 3% of GDP by the halfway mark of 2023. Now that might not sound too bad, but if it keeps going like this, they might not achieve their goal of only having a deficit of 4.4% by the end of the year. But what do all these numbers really mean? Basically, if Romania manages to achieve this golden 4.4% deficit, its economy can function properly. This threshold is considered safe for the good running of the economy. Fiscal deficit's long-term effects are debated. If it's due to short-term projects like infrastructure or business grants, those sectors thrive. But if it's because of lower revenue from tax cuts or business slowdown, it won't boost the economy. Romania didn't do anything to stop this, but now they're making moves to slow it down. So what exactly are they doing? In September of 2023, Romania's Ministry of Finance unveiled a plan for some big fiscal changes. They're gunning to boost tax revenues and slash the budget deficit, and they want Parliament to back them up. Here's what's cooking. Small and medium-sized businesses with earnings up to 60,000 euros annually will face a 1% tax on their turnover. If they go beyond that, it's a 3% tax. This shift replaces the old 16% profit tax when profits shot past a 30% rate. These new rules kick in from January 1st, 2024. Bigger fish companies with over 50 million euros in earnings will have to pony up a minimum 1% turnover tax. Banks aren't off the hook either. They'll also pay 1% on their turnover. Remember those sweet tax breaks for IT, construction, agriculture, and food businesses? They'll only stick around for incomes under 2,000 euros. But that's not all. The plan trims the number of high-up government positions by at least 30% and slashes counselor jobs by 50%. It also puts a lid on bonuses for public institutions. Mobile phone buys and expenses for state entities and state-owned firms are getting a budget makeover too. But there's more though. Alcohol and smokes will cost more with higher excise taxes. High-value assets like property and pricey cars are in for a special tax spread over 5 years. For the tech scene, there's a limit on tax perks until December 31st, 2028, and a threshold for tax breaks. If you make more than 2,000 euros, you're out of the break club. Workers in construction and food will start chipping in for Social Security too. Get ready to pay a bit extra for some stuff. Value-added tax will rise from 5% to 9% for certain goods and services, like social housing, top-notch food delivery, solar panels, and more. Plain beer and sugary foods with over 10 grams of sugar per 100 grams will face standard VAT rates. And there's a sugar tax in store for certain non-alcoholic drinks based on sugar content. Lastly, here's one for the wealthy. Special taxes are coming for people who own real estate worth more than 500,000 euros and cars worth over 75,000 euros. You'll be paying this tax over 5 years. It's a lot to chew on, but Romania's hoping these changes will balance the books. Prime Minister Marcel Ciolacu announced that the government plans to own up to these reforms in Parliament. They want to reshape the state apparatus, balance the books, and tackle evasion. It's a bid for reforms and social justice, says Ciolacu. He says that these reforms have to be deep and irreversible. It can't favor the rich and fancy firms over regular people. It's election time soon. That makes it hard for the government to roll out measures that might pinch people's pockets. This sort of populism is ever present in Romania. But before we move on, if you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Now, Without further ado, let's talk about Romania's populism. Populism has been a part of Romania ever since communism fell in 1989. Populism is a direct appeal to the people for truth. But this political approach has been nothing but trouble for Romania. A good example of populism in the early days is the Greater Romania Party, or PRM. Led by Corneliu Vadim Tudor, it embraced right-wing nationalist populism. It stirred up xenophobia, praised communism, and glorified Romanian culture. In 2000, Tudor almost ruined Romania's democracy. He tapped into fears of unemployment and social upheaval. He even reached the presidential election's second round, but a group of right and left-wing forces beat him. When the PRM lost influence, Traian Băsescu's adopted a different type of populism. It was anti-communist and pro-European, rallying the people against the old regime. In Romania, media manipulation was a powerful tool for populism. The state would alter its news, while private channels faced penalties and arrests. This strategy allowed leaders to intimidate rivals with legal actions, and Băsescu did exactly that. This tug-of-war shows the clash between democratic values and the draw of populism. Governments would make promises to the people, but these promises only hid their actions. These parties committed political abuses, strengthened executive control, and favored a select elite. Back in March 2014, after Russia grabbed Crimea, Romania was pretty worried. Headlines were filled with talk of war on Romania's doorstep. They felt the threat looming large and decided it was time to boost their border security and military strength. Suddenly, this region became super important, not just to Romania, but also to NATO, the United States, and the EU. They saw the value in beefing up Romania to build a strong eastern defense. Ever since joining NATO, Romania has been a loyal partner, pitching in on missions across Europe and the Middle East. However, it was after Russia took Crimea in 2014 that Romania really stepped up. Romania is very important to NATO, but why? It all has to do with its location. If you look at this map, you'll see why Romania's location matters so much. It's right on the Black Sea, which is a big deal. But being so close to Crimea makes Romania nervous about Russia heading their way. The distance between Romania's main port, Constanta, and Sevastopol in Crimea is just 244 miles. To put that in perspective, it's like going from Madrid to Barcelona. So when Russia made its move on Crimea, Romania got pretty jumpy. They knew they had to secure their borders and beef up their military. NATO, the United States, and the EU also saw how important it was to strengthen Romania. They wanted a robust eastern defense, and Romania was the key. Back in 2015, a study raised an alarming red flag. It said that if Russia and NATO went head-to-head, Russia would come out on top in just 3 days. That was a clear wake-up call for NATO. They had to boost their defenses in Eastern Europe, and fast. Plus, NATO had other worries, like keeping an eye on threats from outside Europe, such as Iran. People are now realizing just how crucial Romania is for NATO. It's a key player in the southeastern flank of the alliance. Romania's all in on collective defense in and around the Black Sea. This makes Romania absolutely vital for NATO's future. Even today, as the Ukraine conflict rages on, Romania's got Ukraine's back. They've been super consistent in supporting Ukraine. Romania, with its population of about 20 million, has welcomed loads of Ukrainian refugees and sent aid to Kyiv. But they're not just standing by. Romania's beefing up its air defenses near its Danube villages, just across the river from Ukraine. Russian drones have been attacking grain facilities there, so Romania's taking action. They're also adding more military observation posts and patrols in the area. Plus, they've got 4 more US F-16 fighter jets and a bigger no-fly zone. It's a sign that Romania and NATO are seriously worried that the Ukraine conflict could spill over into their territory. Remember what happened in November of 2022 in southern Poland? A missile strike left 2 people dead and set off a security scare. Turns out Ukrainian air defenses were behind it. Now, Romania's in the spotlight with these drones in the Danube, and everyone's watching closely. Let us know in the comments if you think Romania might get wrapped up in Russia's invasion. Be sure to leave a like and share the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more and be sure to check out these videos on screen.